I am speaking quite a lot about the awakened warrior, this spiritual warrior. But this word is quite difficult to hear for some people, warrior. And I can fully understand why it doesn't really sound so soft. We don't want war, do we? So in reality, there is a better word, and the word I use to describe this is earth protector. Protector. We're protecting the earth. And what that means is that we are willing, I am willing to take up force to defend the ones who are suffering. Does not mean that I would like to make aggression towards anyone at all. It's about just defending. And obviously this word defending, it could be misinterpreted. And for example, in the United States and many other countries, it's kind of popular to make preemptive attacks in defense. And what does it mean to make a preemptive attack? It actually means that they just have a fear of being attacked, and so they attack themselves before they fear they are going to be attacked. This is not to defend yourself at all. This is an aggression. It is not okay to attack anyone just because you are afraid. And when I base what is okay and what is not okay, I always come back to what sometimes is called natural law, or in a way common law, which is only an idea, but this idea is that you should never harm someone else. The basic law of the land is that you should not harm anyone, and you should not steal or lie. But the problem comes when someone breaks these laws, these natural laws that kind of define humans. This is the basic rules, natural rules that humans need to abide to have a civil society, or a society at all, a community. So grouping up an organization is a must to save the people, to make the people protected. There need to be protectors, organized protectors. And these people who are protecting needs to have very clear direction for how they will act to prevent war. And the most important thing is to honor this basic rule that you should not harm anyone else. So how does this work? If we go back to these 3 rules, you should not harm anyone, you should not steal, you should not lie. So what happens then in this society? Everybody kind of agrees to these 3 rules, but someone breaks the rules. Someone is having a bad day or having some problem, so he, well, let's say this man in this example threatens someone and robs them of their food. So suddenly someone broke these laws. So what's gonna happen? Someone needs to go to this person and to make sure this person doesn't continue this, and maybe create a process where the person who broke the truth, who broke the peace, needs to make some gesture or need to repay in some way to clear his debt. He's basically in debt. So for this to happen, someone needs to approach this person and create this process so that it's possible to clear all debt. For everyone's sake, we need to have some kind of organization, some kind of happening to be able to clear yourself from debt. For all parties' sake. And then that would mean that this person who might just have a bad day or something, and there was something happening, who pushed this person into doing something that might not be normal for them, threatening, stealing. But by having this process, it enables this person to be accepted in society again. It's like giving a second chance. So it's not just punishing, it's actually giving a possibility for someone to over and over again be part of society until it is impossible. So let's say we, in the most simple form, a earth protector or a protector of the society is someone who just wants to enforce these basic rules. So if I, as a protector, observe that someone is using force and threat, breaking the peace, to get material wealth, for example. Actually, I can see someone robbing someone, and I can see this person applying violence and harm. Then my role as a protector is to intervene in this, to go there and try to de-escalate this and try to in some way stop this person from creating more harm, or even taking this person in, making sure with physical, being physical, making sure that this person is not able to continue. So that might mean for starters, might mean that I would go there and grab this person and hold it until it's possible to safely release this person again, and maybe hold this person in lockdown for a period until this process can continue, where nobody feel afraid that they will be harmed by this person. So this is one, but obviously the next step is, how much violence am I allowed to use? Because this person might try to run away or harming me or harming someone else. What am I as a protector able to do without myself disturbing the peace? Because I also have made this vow, obviously more than anyone, not to harm other people. So how can I not harm this person while this person might attack me or someone else? It is not possible. So the law, the rule, the law of the land, the natural law is not actually that I'm not, it doesn't say that I don't have the right to harm someone. In reality, if I look closer, the actual rule will be that I will create minimal amount of harm in total. I want the total amount of harm to be minimal. So if you go to a more like extreme case, let's say someone has a gun and is willing to use this gun scaring people. Let's say I also have a weapon. So when am I allowed to use this weapon and how? If I see someone aiming with a gun and I just take up my gun and shoot this person, this is in a way preemptive. I would use violence and force, but I do not know if this is a real gun. I don't know if this person is willing to use it, but obviously I'm afraid. And there is a risk, it's a real risk. So obviously this is not so easy. There is not a clear case. But to me, minimal amount of harm means that I try to wait as long as possible before intervening to see the situation. Obviously, if this person actually makes a shot at anyone, it is very, very clear to me that this is a serious case and I would engage in neutralizing this target. But then it might be too late. So this is up to individual discretion. But what I do know, that if I see someone with a weapon, and if I am really convinced that this is a real threat, and that this feels like a dangerous situation where someone might be killed, shot and killed, obviously I need to do something. But I could choose to shoot this person in a leg or an arm or in a place where I know it is not, or probably not, lethal. But it would neutralize this person. It would make them not able to attack. There's many, like, it has been a lot of discussion lately about this police force in the United States that has been used in quite extreme violence, according to some. And if I look at different cases of extreme violence when the police is doing it, they often shoot preemptive because they feel there is a real danger, but they can often, or in many cases, they shoot lethal shots into the head or to the heart. And this should never be the case. There is no reason whatsoever to make a lethal kill. Even if this person is super dangerous and whatever reason it is, there's no logical way to say that it's a good option to shoot to kill. You can always make the shot as non-lethal as possible. So this is an important thing. If there is some kind of danger, war or similar, you should only use minimal force. So if someone hit someone, I should not put more force than that. I try to always use less force than is given, because I just want to minimize the total amount of harm. So that creates a true protector, or obviously a spiritual warrior or awakened warrior, this word that I'm using most of the time, but that needs some clarification here, which I'm doing. But I do think that there is a place for this word, the spiritual warrior. And even though it's strong, it shows that I am ready to not sacrifice myself, but allowing myself to come in a way, in harm's way, to protect other people or myself. I'm ready to step out to do this different. And this is so important, because if we all stand idle, obviously while a gang of thugs plunder and harms and kills, if we all stand just next to it and do nothing, eventually gonna kill everyone. And that's much how society has become these days, more and more. Many people just standing on the sidelines, waiting for some corrupt governmental organization like the military or the police to step in and do the right thing. At the same time, they do not trust either the police or the military. So if you do not have a trust in these institutions, you need to step in. You need to step in to make sure everybody is safe. You need to also to work always towards having police and military that are actually aligned with the proper way, with the natural law, making everybody feel safe around the police. Even here in Sweden, where I live, many people become afraid when we see the police. And the police are very, very kind here. Like it's not like they're going around bribing people or whatever, or being like really bought by some kind of drug cartel or something. It's not the same as in many other places where the police can be very dangerous. But nevertheless, in the calmest country more or less on earth, at least it has been, Sweden has been a very, very safe place for a long time. People do not trust the police in general. We are afraid of the police because they do create harm. They are not to be trusted because they have this aggressive attitude, and they are not fully in compliance with this natural law. They are going around creating problems for people. Not so much maybe, but it is clear. So these protectors are kind of a building block. It's almost like the first building block of a society. First, we have full freedom, the anarchy state, anarchy. And from that, we build organizations. We build a way of making decisions. And I've been speaking a lot in other lectures about how we can naturally create this kind of fractal organization or fractal democracy, a way where everybody has a possibility to make their voice heard and to come to agreement in a group. You can find more on that topic in other videos. But that is the first thing, because even though you have a governmental form, you also need protection, because even if you decide rules, regulations, whatever, or traditions, if someone breaks it, we need to have some way of making sure we are still safe, internally and externally, from attack abroad, from problems inside. We need to have this organization. This organization, the police or the military, needs to take the rules and take the decision from the assembly, from the people's assembly, from the fractal circle. They need to listen to this, but more than becoming just an army of doing anything, they need to have a code of conduct that is really strict. A true protector doesn't actually need to have an organization at all. If we as individuals just follow these natural laws, creating minimal harm in all ways, we would actually not need an organization at all. Now I'm kind of contradict myself. And I would actually claim that the vision of having a society with no laws and order at all, and not even a need of government at all, is possible when many people take on this calling to be a earth protector. When enough people do that, because then individuals would just intervene and create minimal amount of harm at all times. It's like everybody would be part of the police, part of the military. Everybody would go in and have this clear judgment to use minimal force to create peace around themselves. This would work, but it does not work right now, because we have not listened to this inner defender, the spiritual war. We are not connected to the truth, to the true way how we in reality should operate. And should in a way that I think it's the imprint we actually have. And I speak about this quite a lot, that we as humans, we have a natural way, a natural imprint, a natural instruction, the basic natural instruction. Just like all the animals have their instruction how to, the bee finds honey, flowers, how everything in nature works in perfect balance. Humans have the possibility, if given the right circumstances, listening inwards, we can find our own natural state. And this natural state is the state of the protector. We are protectors of nature, of all life that there is. And we have our natural ways of organization, of communication, things that I can feel, that I can see, and that I believe everybody can. So actually there is already a natural way of things, but we are disconnected from this. And you could say that we are slowly finding our way back to the natural way. And this is basically my main mission on this earth, is to help sharing our natural state, both by teaching about this natural state, like the protector, this basic, fundamental part of our natural cycle, and the fractal democracy organization method as well. This I can teach, but the most basic thing that I teach is actually how to listen, how to still yourself, and to be able to fully by yourself understand the basic laws of nature, or our natural way. By just listening inwards, you will be able to understand how to act, to create what we are supposed to create, which is minimal harm, maximum harmony, maximum abundance, maximum safety for everyone, for humans, for animals, for plants, and so on, for the whole ecosystem. We are the protectors of the whole ecosystem. And we are also protectors of the mean and mad people and the crazy ones. We need to protect them from themselves and create maximum harmony for them as well. Nobody needs to be punished for their wrongdoing, and everybody just needs to be able to be given the chance to come back. So this basic law can be used for how you act as a human in your community. It can be used for police, for military, and for creating for large-scale war, even if it come to that point, which is very easy to see now in the current in the days we live in. We have war in between Russia and Ukraine. We have war in between Israel and Iran, and obviously more actors there as well. If you would follow these basic rules, you would create minimal harm. And you can easily see that there is no country that is creating minimal harm, really. They're all trying to kind of maximum harm. Obviously, if you look at it, it's difficult to know exactly what happened, but I see no clear case where someone is minimizing harm fully. But then again, it's very difficult to know the truth on the ground, what's actually happening and what is propaganda from what I read. But we would like to always, if there would be one party that is actually fully following real honor, they would make their uttermost to not inflict harm at all, by communicating, by being very clear and open with their aims and what they need and what they draw their line. This needs to be super clear so it's very easy to understand. And I don't think anyone is really doing this to the fullest. So this is a little explanation of the spiritual warrior and why we are so important. And we start with ourselves. So what I want you to keep in your heart is that you are needed as a human being creating harmony on this earth. And to do so, you can meditate upon the need for you to be able to gather the courage to be able to step in for the greater community and step in a way that creates minimum amount of harm and maximum amount of safety for everyone. So I hope this helps you to be able to step into your role as an earth protector. So thank you very much for listening to me. I am Mikael Ananda, and I hope you will listen again in the future. Thank you.